Okay, we're going to look at a practical example of using symbols. We're going to build up a scene made up totally of symbols, some of them being nested symbols inside other symbols. So I'm going to have a car and some trees and a house and some hills and some clouds and that sort of stuff. So the first thing for me to do is to have a list of the sort of assets that I'm going to need. And then I'll just create them one by one. So here I go. So insert new symbol. And I'll make all of these graphic symbols because I'm not actually doing anything with them. I don't need the advantages of a movie clip. So let's make the sun. So I'm going to draw the sun. I'm going to not have a stroke, and I'm going to have a yellow fill. And just draw that. I'll just draw it in the middle. If you create something and you want it to be centered on the stage, you can use the alignment tools. Up here there's the align tool, so I can align it to the stage, center across and center up and down. That's good. So I've got a symbol called the sun. I'll put a new one in, and this one can be a bird. And for the bird, what I'm going to do is to use a stroke, a black stroke, and the line tool, and I just check my properties. I might make it about a 3 pixel stroke. 3, there we go. And I'm going to I'm just going to draw 2 lines, one to there, and one to there, and then I'll just give it a bit of a bend so it looks vaguely like a bird, not a lot. Okay, new symbol. This one will be a tree. I'll get a paintbrush. Maybe make a slightly thicker paintbrush. Yeah, no, that'll do. Not the height of wonderful drawing, but just to give the concept. It's my beautiful tree. Yeah, and insert new symbol, make some grass, and so on and so on and so on. Grass can be a slightly different green. Just insert new symbol, house. What do we got? Let's make a little house. I might actually fill it with some light brown. That'll do. Just a bit of a window, door. Very short people. And now I might make a hill. So obviously you'd know beforehand exactly what you were going to create. I'm just sort of making it up as I go along, which isn't always the best way to do things like this, but there's a hill, and I'll fill it with green. And now I'm just going to make up a car as well. If you look in the library, you'll see these are all the symbols I've got. I've got a bird, grass, hill, house, sun, tree. And to make the car, I'm going to make individual pieces. So I'll make a new symbol. I'm going to make the car body. And what do we draw? A brown car. No, red car. Red cars go faster. So a red car, and maybe it can be going that way. Very cute car. So that's the car body, and look, I might actually fill it with a light red. Whoa. See, capture software is doing quite strange things here. Gosh. Hell, I'll just fill it with red. There you go, leave the door. and a new symbol, which will be a wheel. This can just be a round wheel, centered. Maybe some spokes. Sometime in the future we could animate this if we wanted to. Look, I might do one more circle. Take out the fill. Oops. Just move it. Doesn't look a lot like a wheel, does it? So maybe I'll have to fill the tyre. Oh dear. There we go. Actually, don't need that bit. I could make that, oops, a light grey. Alright, that's a wheel. So I've got nothing on my main timeline. You can see if I go to scene 1, I've got nothing, but in my library I've got all these graphic symbols. Now I'm going to make a new symbol called car, and at the moment there's nothing in the symbol called car. So what would I typically want on the car? Well, I'd want the car body there, and on the car body I'd probably want a couple of wheels, so I can grab the wheel symbol and put it into the car symbol. Now obviously that's a little bit big, but I can resize those. If I just resize that now, there's my beautiful car. So we see that when I go to car, it actually contains the wheels, and if I go to my car symbol, I can double click my wheel symbol, and now I'm actually in my wheel symbol, which is inside my car symbol from the main stage. So now I can build up my scene on the main stage based on what I've created. But typically we won't do that. We'll actually put all of our symbols inside another symbol called the camera, and then we'll put that on the main stage. So I'm going to create one new symbol, and this is going to be called camera. And there's nothing in it, but now I'm going to, this is the fun part, build up my scene. So I might put a hill over there, and look, I might even stretch that hill out. So I can actually change the instances in different ways. Put another hill over here, and another hill over here. Stretch it out a bit too. So then my hills, I can make them a bit sort of bigger too if I want. Yeah, we can fix that later. Put a tree on the hill, and put another tree over here, and put another tree over here. And now we can play with these individual trees. I mean, we can turn one inside out if we want. Oops. How do we do that? It's not letting us change it very much, is it? Let's change the size of it a bit. Well, looks like my tree's registration point has got a bit funny. No, it looks alright here. Don't know. Oops, go back to my camera. I'll just change these trees a little bit. There's one. This one might be in the foreground, so it might be a lot bigger. This one might be in the background, a lot smaller. As we'll see, we could put it behind the hill if we wanted to. Bit of grass, I put some grass over here. Unfortunately the grass I've made the same colour as the hill, which is a bit silly. But I'll just put some over there and some over there. It looks more like a large evil plant, but anyhow. Now look, I can even alt drag to copy some of these things. It just makes another instance as well. That'll do. Let's put the sun in the sky. Beautiful sun. A few birds. So a bird over here. Maybe rotate it slightly. Looks like a Northern Territory ad, doesn't it? Down there. Another bird over here. Oops. You're going to be rotated that way. And one more bird sort of over here, made very, very small because it's a long way away. There you go. Look, Northern Territory. You never know if you never go. House. Got to have a house. House sort of sitting on the prairie. Maybe a bit bigger. As you can see, I've spent many years drawing. And finally, let's put the car in. So we'll drag the car in, and as you can see, the car is complete with wheels. If I'd have dragged the car body in, I would have just had the body, and if I'd just dragged the wheels in, I would have had the wheels. This way, we've got the integrated car made up of different symbols, and we can pop it on the stage and do whatever we want with it. Now, all this is in a symbol called camera. So if I go back to scene 1, we see that there's nothing there. So now I can drag my camera with the complete stuff onto the stage, and I can play with it as a whole. It's now a single symbol containing all of the other symbols. And the way that will typically work is that we'll be able to do stuff like tween and zoom in and out and stuff like that. So just for example, I could start with the movie with it just sort of sitting down there like that, and then over maybe 70 frames I could then zoom it in to say the car, so I could make this bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and sort of scale it up. What if I transform, scale and rotate? Let's say make it 300%, and then put the car about where the middle is of the stage, and I can give it what's called a classic tween. We'll talk about this more later, and it does this, just makes it bigger. But when we actually play the movie, it will actually look like we're zooming in on the car. So if I just test the movie now, this is what it'll look like. Famous last words. Okay, let's try it again. Yeah, so that's the final product that we will get to see. And if there's animation in there, we can then start to move it around. We can pan, we can do all sorts of things like that. So over here, as well as zooming in, I could have sort of panned sort of across the scene, and then it would do that as well, panning across the scene. Okay, so all we looked at there was the ability to create a whole lot of assets or symbols, some of which contain other symbols inside them, such as the car containing the individual wheels. And as we'll see, if I move the wheels in the car, they'll actually move in my final as well. The car's now got levitation that's floating above the wheels.